Alana, thanks for joining me.
It's okay.
Okay. As you're aware, this is going to be recorded, and the purpose of this is just so that I can develop some of the skills involved in counselling. And I'm just going to let you know as well that I'm not actually a professional counsellor.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, again, thanks for joining me. I've got some tea here. Please help yourself throughout the session.
Thank you.
How have you been recently?
Yeah, I've been really good.
That's good.
Yep. Just came back from a meditation retreat, so feeling pretty refreshed after that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so it's nice.
Good. How long did that go for?
It was a 10-day one.
10 days?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Quite something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can definitely feel the effects of it afterwards, which is good to know.
Okay. And what are the effects, just out of curiosity?
Just increased sense of like calm and not reacting to situations so automatically and blindly. So just being able to remain pretty centered with little challenges that come up. So it's good. It's useful. Yeah.
Good. Please apologise. Please excuse me rather for my cat. You might have heard him before. He's trying to get into the room, as he sometimes does.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. All right. So 10 days of meditation. Wow. Good. Is there a particular topic that you might like to chat with us, for us to chat about here today? Something on your mind recently?
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe just talking about the relationship I have with my mum.
Okay.
So I'm going up to visit my family in a couple of weeks, and just want to make the most of that time, especially in terms of improving the relationship. So, yeah, that's more or less what I had in mind, if that suits.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so your relationship, from what I'm hearing, is not so great with your mum. Is that a recent thing, or is it an ongoing issue?
It's been an ongoing issue throughout my life, and probably within the past 3 years, I've made an effort to start improving that. So yeah, it's only been something I've been working on for the past 3 years, but it's been a little bit, typically just a bit cold and distant, judgmental, critical, tense, I guess. Yeah.
And that's been going on since you can remember, sort of thing, for most of your life?
Yeah, so it's not like a particular thing happened that caused it to be, like there wasn't some event that threw it all, but it just has been that kind of relationship throughout life.
Okay.
Yeah, for various reasons, but more subtle, I think.
And in the last 3 years, you've sort of seen it as an area that you'd like to change somehow? Yeah,
I think for a long time my mum has wanted to have a closer relationship with me, a more open, warm, sharing kind of relationship. So I have taken that on board, and I've decided that I think that's a good idea as well. And so yeah, I'm doing what I can to try and get it to that place. Yeah.
And meditation is maybe a part of that?
Yeah, it's certainly helped. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we tend to respond to each other with frustration or criticism or things like that, emotions or something. So it's good to be able to scale those back a little bit in our interactions, so that the interaction doesn't become this mess of different emotions or reactions and things. Yeah. Which just, causes more distance and doesn't really help.
So both parties, when it gets to be that tense, kind of take a step back and the walls come up.
Yeah.
Mm. is the like you sound to be quite in touch with your own emotions, and I can sense that you've looked at this from a lot of angles. And you've really tried to work on this. What is your own estimation of the basic quality of the reason why you guys are so distant? Is it a personality clash, something simple as that, or is it like a history of bad events over many periods of time which has caused a distrust, something different perhaps?
It's been well, growing up I felt very criticised. Well, my mum was very critical and very strict and a whole range of things that made me feel like I hated her, kind of thing. Like she was just
always on your case.
Yeah, always on my case, kind of thing. So frustrated, constantly, always doing something wrong. And so that led me to kind of withdraw, I think, and not really express myself, or hide a lot of things that I was doing that I knew would be met with this criticism, or this it would be the wrong thing to be doing, kind of thing. So I've retreated, I guess, throughout life and become very secretive. And I think on her end, well, I guess she could feel that I really didn't like her, and that I had problems with her, and I hated her and stuff, and so that caused this emotional thing within her, and she feels very rejected, and I guess I feel rejected, and there's that common rejection that seems to always be there in our current interactions, even though we might not be rejecting each other as such.
So there's the defences are up for both of you, and have been for quite some time.
Yeah, so it's that trying to bring those down, or get out of that habit of putting them up.
So if I'm hearing you right, you're both wanting to have that warm, open relationship, but because the defences are up, a wall has been created, and there's no way over it that you've really been able to bridge yet. That's quite a tough one. In those moments where you are feeling the frustration and the anger, directed at your mum, is it those emotions in the moment which are preventing you from doing what you'd actually really like to do, which is reach out towards her?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's just the overwhelming kind of felt presence of frustration and bitterness.
Yeah.
Okay. Which makes it hard, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's really what you're looking for, a pathway out of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of struggling with.
Okay. Well, the good news is you both want to come closer together and to be connected on a more deep level. So there's the will already and the awareness already. So really it seems to me a question of just process. How do we get there? Okay. So really a lot of the work, by the sound of it, has already been done in the willingness and the opening up to the desire for a deeper relationship as mother and daughter.
Yeah.
That's good. Are there any points of contact between you guys, shared passions or interests that you might be able to come together over?
Not really. It doesn't feel like it. I mean, there's some common interests with food or cooking or health or something, but it doesn't have the same kind a substance as like a real particular activity that we might both be really into, or something that we can connect on. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but yeah, I feel like I've tried making conversation out of health or something, or these common ground interests, but it doesn't seem to go where I want it to go. It just feels a little bit forced or something. Because of the weird tension thing that's present.
Okay, so there is some common ground, not much.
Yeah.
And some of these things are health, cooking, and just food in general. Kind of. So maybe two different perspectives that on the same thing, but they don't really fit together somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a tough one. It's a very tough one. So you're seeing her in a few weeks' time. So that's really, I'm seeing that as a real opportunity to maybe make a step towards her. So we're really talking about what we might be able to try.
Yeah, like what I could do that I haven't done, or what I could not do that I have been doing, or something, you know, like introduce a new
dynamic. Yeah. Okay. Well, what about touch? Do you guys have a touchy-feely relationship, or even just touch at all? Or is it, you've mentioned the word cold a couple of times, I think.
Yeah, so she's pretty guarded. Like, we do touch, we do hug each other when we see each other and things like that. But it is like, you know, it feels like she's holding back a little bit, or a bit guarded, or not so comfortable with it as she would like to be. But I think because of her upbringing and growing up in a household like that with parents like that, it's become like this. It's not natural for her, but yeah, it's not a problem either. It's just what it is.
Okay. And what about yourself? Are you guarded, or only guarded when she's guarded?
I feel much less guarded. I probably am guarded in some ways, in certain situations, but probably more open to it, more open to touch, and probably a bit warmer. Yeah.
Okay. And have you used touch before as a way to connect with her? Or
no, I haven't really thought about it.
I've read something which is very interesting about human infants, and it really gives a sense, a strong sense of just how profound touch is for human beings, and how healing it can be, how life-sustaining. Apparently, infants who aren't touched in the first few weeks after birth by their parents or by any other human being die. So that gives an idea of just how profound, how fundamental touch can be. So just as we're trying to concept, you know, maybe a path towards your mum, and maybe you've said that her family's pretty guarded and not very touchy, but you've also mentioned that you're a little bit open to, or maybe at least more than she is. So how do you feel about using something as simple as a hug to set the stage when you do see her in a few weeks, and just let her know with a hug, a real hug, not a superficial one, that you're here now and you'd really like to connect.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about that, so that's definitely something I think would be worth trying.
Okay, well that's something that we have to work with. And what about your other family members? Do you have any siblings, or like, so what you mentioned your mum and your dad, they're still together? Yep. are they aware in some real sense of the disconnect between yourself and your mum?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. They're aware also that you would like to mend that relationship?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I haven't spoken of that to them, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe it would be worth mentioning. I think they're aware of the relationship from their own observations, what's happening, but I haven't really gone into detail. With my brother I have a little bit, but
Okay.
with my dad I haven't, for example, talked about that relationship.
How long have your father and mother been together? Just out of interest.
I don't know. Maybe 30 years.
Wow, 30 years. Quite rare in today's day and age.
Yeah.
So they're very close. They must be.
Yeah,
Sure.
so.
It might also be worth communicating to your dad, for example, how much you would really love to reconnect with your mum. And maybe even go into some of the reasons why you haven't felt you've been able to in the past.
Yeah.
And without setting some kind of agenda, really, he may be able to interpret what you're saying and reflect that back to your mum in his own way, through the connection that they have.
Yeah.
You know, and at least your mum will be hearing from another direction that you'd like to.
Yeah.
Do you feel that she perceives that you would like to reconnect?
I think so. I think I've told her in the past, but maybe she's needs the reassurance or the reminder.
It can't hurt. Okay. Very tough. This complex situation sounds very hard.
Yeah, but I think that the touch thing is a good thing, because we have, like, after we've had arguments in the past, or I've tried to touch on, like, deeper level topics about our relationship, for instance, and it's become very, like, crying and frustration and all that. Afterwards we have, like, hugged it out kind of thing, and it's felt a lot more real, or a lot more connective than anything else. So that's been, that's kind of pointing to something for me.
So we've talked about how you guys have been really defensive, and you're mentioning that the hug came after a lot of the emotional turmoil in previous discussions you've had.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about, if you are going up there in a few weeks, beginning almost any time you want to, like, get to those deeper issues with her, have that kind of discussion or even confrontation, to maybe setting the tone with a hug from the very outset rather than afterwards?
Yeah, that might be a good way to go, or to try. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we have those other things you mentioned, like food and cooking. That even if you don't get into chit chat and things like that, which seem to be a barrier more than a connective tissue between you. Just the act of doing things, maybe together, maybe cooking a meal, saying, I don't know, I've got a recipe here, Mum. I can do this part of it, and you can do that part of it. Because for human beings, food, cooking, very essential thing, a very ground level thing. And you're probably aware from cooking with friends or lovers and people like that who you're naturally more close to, that there's a sense of shared accomplishment coming, like during the meal, the eating of the meal after it's been cooked together.
Yeah.
So maybe that could also help, along with the hug and things like that, to build that solidarity up and just let her know that you're not here to attack her, and so her defences are not needed now.
Yeah.
Alright. Is there anything, any other things that you might like to discuss about your mum? I feel like we're probably getting close to the 20 minutes, a short session. We can only cover so much.
No, I think that's a good, good start, a good few things for me to think about.
Okay.
Try when I go up there next.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
But as I mentioned, I feel like I've just got a good feeling about this, because I feel like if you both want it, it's just a matter of time, a matter of searching. And if it's not these particular things we've discussed today that will bridge the gap between you, it'll be other things, and just trust yourself.
Okay.
You'll find a way.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it does require a little bit of courage to take that step, but I see it in you, so
Thanks.
it's going to be good.
Okay.
Okay, best of luck in a
Thank
few
you.
weeks' time, and thanks for joining.
Okay, thank you.